Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2017, and this is episode number 5. This is Pro Cyclist mode. We have a rider with a stage racer specialist. Our average is now the third best on our first team. In our first season, this is Team Jelly Belly, and we are now the third highest rated rider. We have an average rating of 69, which has improved steadily. We are already at level 10. We have an 81% manager approval rating, and we are heading into a 5-stage race in the US, 2 hilly stages, and 1 shorter time trial. So we have a small chance to shine depending on who is in this race. Our strongest rider is sitting this one out, so we have a chance at potentially being a team leader here, but not necessarily. We have not had that honor as of yet, but both us and our other potential team leader are sitting similarly at lower levels. So in this first stage, this hilly stage, it is pretty much a mountaintop finish. So we've got a pretty steady climb laid on there, and for our rider, as that is our area of strength, we might just be able to snatch a top 10 in this race if we can hang with the main group. We could be in pretty good shape by the time we hit that time trial on, I believe that's stage 3. But it all comes down to team orders. Team orders are going to be what helps us out with the experience points most of all early on, even over potential wins. Because if we go against the team boss and go rogue, well, we put ourselves at risk. Especially if it doesn't pay off. And with the weak level of our riders so far, we're not an awful rider by any means, but we are not the kind of rider who's going to be winning very many races as of right now. In fact, the only win we've had so far, well into April of our first year, was very much a surprise win, but it was a youth level competition. Where we kind of just outrode the rest of the breakaway and held on. Alright, as this is a US based race, it looks like we have a lot of smaller continental teams from the US competing in this race, and there's not a lot of high profile teams here. So that does give us a little bit more of a chance that there's not going to be a whole lot of strong competitors out there. It looks like we are set as leader. So we did get the role of leader here as the stage racer. So that is fantastic. They are going to give me a shot in this 5-day race. Alright, well, we are already right up at the front, and nobody seems to be taking the lead here early on this early climb, but I'm sure somebody's, yep, there we go, 4 riders heading off, looking to form a breakaway. We are going to go ahead and speed right on through, as today's stage is going to come down entirely to that climb at the end. With that weaker set of riders, maybe we could actually even hope for something better than just a top 10 finish. I did not look at the list of favorites, but I didn't see our name on that page, and I believe that covers the top 10 favorites, so we might be just outside of that range. But with our abilities, and if we hang on to the end and have plenty of strength to go, if we time it right, I don't see why we can't get inside that top 10. Alright, so we're already through the first sprint point. The breakaway was those 4 riders. Nobody else went up to join them, and they've got 4 minutes on the peloton at this point. And none of our team has gone into the break, so I have the entire team here to support me for that climb. And with our condition for the day, we've got a +2 in both mountain and hill climbing today. +1 in stamina and resistance. The recovery as well, but that's not going to have an impact on the stage itself. But we definitely have some good bonuses going into the day. And for the first time with this rider, we have a team actually working for us. Alright, we are past the halfway point of the stage. Team is doing its job as they are maintaining the workload. They've already gotten water to us and so on. We're past the second sprint point, and we are now 50 kilometers from the end of this stage. We've got a small climb right now, but nothing of concern, though I am going to have to step on it. Looks like the pace has picked up as they are starting to close in on the breakaway, which their lead is down to 1.5 minutes, so that breakaway is already in sight up ahead. We should have no trouble catching them, so this is not going to be a stage for the breakaway today. It will come from the pack, and while I don't pick us as a favorite, we should at least be up near the front. We are hanging on well to our stamina at this point. So we're in pretty good shape. We have one more short climb here in just a moment. But beyond that, it's going to be right into the lengthy climb to the finish, though it's going to be gradual for quite a while before we have the steep climb at the end. As long as we are still looking strong at that steep climb in the end, we'll see where we're at and whether we have any ability to try to push for a win. But realistically, this is more of a let's try to hang on, especially if we are a stronger time trialist than other teams. Not necessarily going to look for a win today, but just to be in the front group. If we can be in the front 5 or 6 riders, we might have an edge over them when it comes to that time trial. Alright, looks like we just got shuffled back massively here at the base of the climb as the field pushed by on the side, so we're going to have to burn some energy trying to get back up in front. That's not what I like to see happen. Looks like the field has been split up quite a bit already. One group has dropped off the back, even though we've only just started climbing. Now we are down to about 14k to go at the end, so I am going to slow things down. We're going to race it out from here. I'm going to try to push back up towards the front right now while things are relatively flat. I do not like being this far back as we head into these climbs here at the end. Alright, the escape group is caught, so we are down to a field of 99. I'm going to push not right to the very front, but I'm going to get pretty close here. And right there, we're going to hold it there. Hopefully I've got a teammate coming up to lead me. All my team still has energy. Nobody's been dropped off, so here comes Bennett. Alright, and we are right near the front. Looks like 1 or 2 riders are trying to make a push there, but this is not the right time yet because things are about to level off here in just a moment. I don't want to burn my energy yet because I know what is coming now. There we go. Alright, so we're pretty good on the energy. We're over halfway and we're getting a little bit of recovery in right now. We have just over 6k to go and we're about to hit that final climb. We're going to use our energy gel here in a moment. We're about to hit that 5k marker and we are right where we want to be, right at the front. And there goes the push. We're going to push just steadily here. We have 4k to go. We want to make sure that we don't burn ourselves out, but it's definitely a push to the end. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to win this race, just be in the front group. So I don't want to burn out our energy. 3.5K, and I'm close to maximizing this out. Looks like Team Rally's got one rider pushing away. They might be going for the win. 3K to go. I am second overall at the moment, but I am running a little low on the energy with 2.5K to go. I am gaining on him, but I'm also pretty short here. I don't know if I'm going to have enough energy to make it all the way to the end. No, we're not. We're about to burn out. We just burned out. Okay, we're going to go to 99. Use whatever we've got left to try to get to the end. Looks like we're in a group of 12 riders now. And now 8 riders are off the front. Looks like we're looking for about 9th, 10th place, which was kind of right about where I thought we might end up. The rest of our team has been left behind. Boy, we were a lot further from the finish than I figured. You can see here, this last climb's really steep. We should have tried to stay a little more in the pack, or at least push a little less hard there. But it looks like we should be able to hang on for right around a top 10 finish, which again, that was kind of my main goal here today. There's 8th, there's 9th, 10th, just outside of the top 10, 11th place. And it was right to the top of this hill, as it looks like it's a steep decline down the other side, but the race is done. Alright, so we do lead our team across at least, so we should hang on to our leader role, especially when you add in our advantage when it comes to the time trial. So in 11th place overall, we very much have a shout at a top 10 finish in this stage race. Of course, there's one more hill climb finished on the final day. Let's go ahead and speed up time so we can get this thing to an end. So 11th place here in our first stage. Nielsen Powless looked like he was in 5th there. That's definitely a rider for the future. There is definitely going to be some time gap, so we're not looking at winning this. That time trial, we're 2 minutes back, so we are not going to be winning this, but at a minute 45, we could definitely catch those guys. Minute 22, if they're bad time trialists, we can catch those guys. So we could be definitely looking at a 8th, 9th, 10th place, depending on how these guys do in that time trial in a couple days. Alright, so our goal is to finish in the top 3. We're 11th, and so that's actually seen as bad. I think if we were 10th, we'd probably be given an okay performance. So our team managers are not too happy about that, but we weren't really one of the favorites anyway. So that was a pretty high expectation of the boss, but I figured 11th was kind of right about where we should have been, saying just outside of the top 10 or maybe just the top 10. Alright, so stage 2 is a sprint stage, but you can see it is still got a few climbs along the way, and it is not a flat finish. So this is another one of those days where we're going to push very quickly through this one, but we've got a chance to actually have the field split here towards the end with a bit of climb and some climbing along the way. That's going to tire out quite a few riders. Alright, well, you can see from team leaders, we're actually not even in the top 3 for our team as of yet. We've not made any sort of name for ourselves. I like this jersey here for EPM, that green on black there. It's nice. Those are my colors, anyway, by the way. I went to the University of Oregon, so green, definitely my color. Alright, looking at the favorites for today's, of course today's seen as a sprint stage, but Logan Owen out of 72 seems to be about the highest overall. Again, we're still the highest placed for our team, so hopefully they're still going to be looking at us as team leader. In fact, looks like the next highest is 31st overall, so even though the boss wasn't too happy with our performance in stage 1, I think we should still securely be the leader here today. Leader outsider, good. Okay, so initial objective, top 3 in the final overall standings, but when you add in that stage race, the time trial, definitely see that we can make a boost. So today, as a sprint stage, I can see a lot of free elements, barrier doors. Looks like we only have one teammate assigned to us today, and possibly a second. Alright, well, let's get up into the safety of the front of the pack. And we're going to speed things along right up until the end. Today should be a fairly pain-free stage. But again, that little bit of climbing and that little bit of a climb at the end may just be enough to split some of this field up, but it's not going to shake off too many riders. Would be real fortunate if anyone inside the top 10 gets left behind. Alright, so we're actually still just pushing to get to the front of the field in a comfortable place, and actually having to burn a little bit of energy, which is a real shame, but let's just hang on to it. We'll fix our position after this hill. Alright, up over the first climb of the day, just about ready to head straight into the second one. We'll push up a little bit more now, and we're on the second climb. We'll hold our position here again. See, like I said, that EPM, that black, that green, I like their jerseys. Here, number 151, right next to me. I could ride for that team just to ride that with those jerseys. They offer me a contract for next year, maybe. Actually, I can't remember if I'm on a 1 or 2 year contract. Probably on a 1 year. Alright, we are up and over that second climb of the day. We got a little false flat here, but we are finally able to get up to the front of the field where we belong. And there's our support in Bennett, and now we're good to go. We'll go up to speed 8. Nice long false flat here as we headed to the sprint, the second and final sprint of the day. Taking a quick look at our condition, we've got a bunch of +1s today, so our rider looks to be fairly well set here after 2 days of both seeing small margins in the plus side. So our fitness is looking pretty good, and that should help us for this 5-stage race, with that potential to maybe get something, at least a top 10. I think a top 5 might be a little out of reach, though the team boss is actually looking for a top 3. So hopefully in that top 10, I haven't looked at any of their attributes, but hopefully we've got some pretty poor time trialers in that top 10 that we can make a real difference on the times, and then we'll see what happens with that 5th stage. Alright, so we are getting close to the end of the stage here. I'm going to slow it down now. We've got just 3K to go, and we're going to start actually pushing. Let's use that energy gel, and we're going to start working our way up through the field, and we might see if we can't do something in this stage with this short climb here. Alright, full sprint towards the end.
He managed the sprint like a
We're
master
going to be
of
outside
his
the top
craft.
10.
He was certainly the fastest today.
And we come across line 17th on the day. Again, it was just a sprint stage, so no point. Like I said, there was little chance of riders getting dropped off, but there actually were some riders that did fall off the back, but it was only a handful. Alright, we'll get through the end of the stage here, and we'll at least get through that time trial today.
Now for the best moments of the day.
Alright, taking a quick look at the standings, we did get a teammate into 10th place on the stage, and as expected, we stay in 11th place overall. And as we still are in 11th, Team Boss still not happy with us, even though it's a sprint stage, but today is the day with this next stage that we should be able to gain some ground. Hopefully we at least get one place and get into the top 10. I know top 10's kind of a whole nother level where we can at least be seen as doing okay by the Team Boss and not doing bad. Not too long of a time trial today, 25k. Actually for this level that's a little bit longer. And nothing too severe. It looks like we have a route that goes out, turns around, and then comes back in. Not much of a climb to it. Fairly level, but definitely not flat. Alright, we're not seen as a favorite as a top 10 for the stage, but the point really isn't whether we can manage a top 10 finish in the stage. It's how we do compared to the top 10 in the overall standings, as today we are definitely focused on our position in the overall standings. So race day condition looks to be a 0 again, but it's been that both the last couple days, and we were able to get small bonuses. So I'd really hope that we can get that little bit of a bonus today. That might be enough to get us inside the top 10 on the stage. Alright, so we're actually seen as a favorite today. We are seen as a top 3 favorite today. So it looks like we are in with a shout for a good day and a real chance to move up in the standings. Nielsen Palace was 5th overall, I believe, and he's also one of the favorites. Real strong time trialer. That's definitely a stage racer for the future. So it looks like we have an objective of a top 3 on the day, top 3 standings in the day. So a lot of pressure from the Team Boss for us to step up and do something for the team. So it's nice that we are getting support of the Team Boss, but they're also putting some pretty high expectations on us. So hopefully we can live up to those expectations today and use up the last little bit of energy right as we cross the line and ride strong, ride hard, and have a good finish. Alright, so it looks like the top 10 riders are through the first checkpoint, which I don't even see a checkpoint. Is there not? Is there no checkpoints today? It's really just the finish line, huh? Kind of figured at least the halfway mark would have a checkpoint. Alright, so it looks like right now it's taking about 36 minutes for most riders. Of course, as one of the favorites, we should be ahead of that time. In fact, there's Cataford, who just shaved about 30 seconds off of that top time so far. And I would think we should be inside of that time as well. So our first teammate, the one who was supporting us yesterday, finished minute 22 off pace, 34th place overall, and Barry's on the course right now. Just to see what are the conditions like. We've got quite a ways to go until we're coming up. So yeah, you can clearly see you have a track going out to the south and then coming right back in. On the road, relatively calm winds blowing north, so that means they're going to be at our back on the back half of the course. But at just 5 kilometers per hour, should have very little impact. We've got 3 more riders out on the course right now. Looks like we're about 30 spots off from getting our go, and it looks like we have a full strength team, which we haven't seen that often this season, so it's good to see. We do have some good support out there. Of course, I have to take advantage of that, but in that first race I really didn't have any guys there. I had one guy with me towards the end of the stage, and that was it. So what's the point of bringing a whole team if we're not actually using it? Alright, well, we're now within 10 riders. So we'll be at the start line here soon. Time is now, these more front guys are starting to come across. We are now inside of 35 minutes, and we're about to get started. Alright, so we're heading out. And we'll be following our time. We do start with a bit of a steady climb here, so we want to have a good start here, and we'll be able to save a little bit of energy on this decline. I don't want to come out too strong and burn all of our energy, but it would be nice to get a good start here. You can see this split highway. We have the out and the in. Alright, you can already see we're making good time. A via here ahead of us is a good carrot for us to follow. We're definitely gaining on him, but we are behind on the energy front. But this is the biggest climb of the day, and we're already nearly to the top of it. So we're getting through it without burning too much energy. We definitely should recover. Oh, there's a glitch. Floating guardrails. Ooh, more floating guardrails on that side. The land part works, but the floating guardrails did not. Alright, so we're up over the top. We are now restoring that energy. You can already see we are now on the plus side. And we should be able to go out here. We are on the flat now for a while. We're actually not too far off from the that halfway point already. And we've definitely got some energy in the bank, and we're going to have a nice long downhill there. So I'm actually going to push a bit harder right now because we've really only got that one climb left, and it's short and not that steep. And then we'll have a nice downhill that we'll be able to race pretty hard on. Alright, well, we're on the flat right now. We're running pretty hard. Still plenty of energy, so that's good to see. That carrot, we haven't caught up to him yet, but we're going to make a nice strong push here on this climb. Going strong. See, we just closed the gap on him considerably.
The riders are in a portion above 10%.
This is where we can make a lot of time. Having the energy to burn here. We're already approaching the top, and we're just down into the negative side. So we're in a good position to go strong to the end and not just coast in. But we do need to restore what we have used. And that should happen pretty quick. Alright, so we're back to about level on energy. Of course, we're coasting right now, but we don't want to coast all the way into the finish. Oh, tree. Alright, looks like we are about to just kind of coast into the finish, though we're not riding. I don't know why it's not burning, energy, but we are kind of right where we need to be, running out of energy right as we reach the finish line, and we are into first place by a comfortable 41 seconds. So, we did time that just right, 41 seconds, and we're going to watch these top 10 guys and see how they do. Easter's just now approaching the line, so I think he's going to be a bit off our pace. He's 11th. Inkhorn, next one to come in, and he's a little bit better time trialer. He's 9th, 55 seconds off, so we should be ahead of him comfortably. So I think we're moving up at least 2 spots on the day. Macias, not a strong time trialer, just a 61, and he's still half a K away from finishing, so I think he's going to have a bit of a weak time. 2 minutes down on us. Carpenter comes in just behind him. Carpenter 2nd overall. I'm definitely not going to be ahead of him, but I gained 25 seconds on him. His time trialing ability was a 68. Jaramillo is next. They were just a minute 16, so I've got to gain about 50 seconds on this rider, and I do. There's Nielsen Palace, 1 second off. I might actually win this stage. Nielsen Palace was the biggest competitor to the top here, and Britain gets third, 2 seconds off. All right, I think I might actually pull this off and win the stage. There's only 3 riders left across the line. Devos right now, not a strong time trialer. They're still heading in. They're definitely off the pace. 7th place, 46 seconds. I won't move ahead of them in the standings. I probably won't here either, but I might actually see myself climbing to the top 5. Sivikov finishes 4th, and Rubiano, the leader, coming in. Still a K to go. I think they might be dropping off the top spot. And 10th, 47 seconds off the pace. So I might be around 5th or 6th overall, but I do get my 2nd career victory. This one a stage in the Tour of the, I don't know if that's Gaia. It's Tour in the U.S., but it's actually not a tour that I'm familiar with. All right, overall in standings, we have jumped to 7th place, which was about the highest that I expected we might be able to get. There was a pretty good sizable gap from us down to 11th, but we do move up 4 spots. But the surprise of the day is we get the stage win. And in terms of competitive races at the continental level, this is our first continental level victory. So congrats to us on the close victory. And we had just burnt the energy right as we were crossing the line, which is perfect timing. We kept enough in the tank for that final steep climb, about 75% of the way through, and that was enough to get the win, just barely, 1 second. All right. We're 5th in the standings for Best Young Rider. I think we were also 5th when it came to points. We've got 2 stages left to go. And let's go ahead and get out of here. It looks like, there we go. 1 second ahead of Nielsen Palace. 3 seconds ahead of Rob Britton. Or about 2.5 seconds anyway. And we do have a teammate, Sheldon Taylor. Or Taylor Sheldon. 43 seconds off in 7th place. That brings us up to 7th overall. We're just inside 2 minutes, so I don't think we're going to contend for the overall win in that final stage. But I don't know what that 5th stage looks like yet and how we'll be feeling on the day. But we're inside the top 10, so that's going to be a big boost. Here you go, review for the day. We're 7th in the provisional standings, which is bad, but the stage, they wanted us top 3. We got 1st, and that was very good. They still see it as bad, being in 7th place. That's surprising. I figured we'd at least get up to okay. We do gain 16 points in the progression towards our next level, and manager satisfaction did go up by 5%. Alright, we might actually quick sim through this next stage, unless it's another one of those false flat stages, but this is supposed to be a sprint stage coming up here in stage 4. And it is pretty bumpy. We're gonna go ahead and quick sim. Oh. Okay, well, I haven't done that this season. So I guess we are going to have to race through that, but that's going to have to happen next time as we are out of time. So in our next episode, we are going to get through these last 2 stages and see if we can't hang on to a top 10 or maybe squeeze into the top 5. We'll have to see what happens there in the final stage. Alright, so that does it for this episode. I am Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So, if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record.